The two friends step outside of the vehicle, but suddenly, Gabrielle's dress gets torn apart as the car leaves. Her friend immediately takes some other clothes from her bag and hands them to Gabrielle. It seems that she also alters some of her friend's papers. She really thinks that she doesn't have a chance anymore at the interview, but her friend says that she has to go, that they'll evaluate her knowledge, not her appearance. She gets convinced by her friend, Rachel, and there they go. They finally arrive at where they think it's the place, and Gabrielle says she's quite nervous to be there, but Rachel tries to reassure her, telling her to take a deep breath and go. She comes in, excusing herself, saying she came for the interview, and asking if she can come in. The man tells her to come in and she excuses herself and takes a seat. The young man starts asking her to tell him about her experience, of her objectives. She tells him that all of her information is right there in the resume, telling him that he can take a look. He accepts it, and as soon as he opens it, he tells her that she'll not buy her way in with those photos. She doesn't know what's he talking about, wanting to see it with her own eyes, saying she doesn't know about that. He says that's just the beginning, that she not only brought those photos, she's also wearing these extremely casual clothes, saying they're inappropriate for a job interview. She tries to tell him that she didn't know about those, that she didn't put them there in the first place, but he asks her to leave his office, saying that place is for interviews only, and it seems like she doesn't have what's he looking for, gesturing the exit to her. She tries to insist, saying once again that she didn't put those there, telling him to look past the photos. He puts it down, saying he's had enough, and that he's going to count to 10, that he wants her gone or he'll call the security. He starts the countdown, and she decides to leave. Rachel is waiting for her outside and then she asks her how it goes, asking her why the long face. Gabrielle says it was the worst, that she was kicked out, and that the interviewer saw some photos on her resume, but she wasn't the one who put those there. Her friend just says that's rough, and that's when Gabrielle says they should leave already. Suddenly, Rachel tells her that she also has a job interview there, saying that she might have forgotten to tell her about it, saying that she'll stay. She can't believe she didn't tell her that, and she says she has to go, telling her she should be grateful that she picked her best photos to put inside her resume. Gabrielle is speechless, and Rachel makes her way into the room. The young man greets her, telling her to sit down. She takes her seat, asking him where they should begin. He asks her if she has experience, and she says she's experienced. Gabrielle can't get over the fact of being betrayed like that, and a woman comes up, asking her if she's all right. She confides in the woman that she lost her opportunity because her friend betrayed her. She asks her how so, and she tells her about the sabotage her friend did to her, that she put some photos of her on the beach in there and the man told her to leave his office. The woman says she thinks she can help her, and Elizabeth tells her that she'll get her another interview, telling her that she can grab a uniform and say that Elizabeth sent her there. She's a little confused, but she thanks her for that and leaves. Elizabeth stays at the threshold, seeing that, then she coughs up and comes in. They stop, and then she asks Gustav how are things. He says he's fine, asking his boss if she needs him. Elizabeth says she wanted to speak about the interview, and Gustav says he wanted to talk to her about it too, saying he found the new manager, Rachel. She raises her hand for a handshake, and they greet each other. He tells Rachel that Elizabeth is the owner of the company, and Elizabeth says that since she's the new manager, she wants her to start right away. She looks at Gustav, saying she was going to start next week, but she insists that she wants her to begin right now, that she wants her to accompany her to her office. She says she can start today, asking her what she needs. She says her desk is filled with reports, and she wants her to correct them, that she'll go and check up on her later. She's glad to see that Gustav is having some fun. She asks him how are her daughter and grandchildren. He calls her mother-in-law, saying they're fine. She tells him she'll go back to work, telling him to keep his head in the right place. As soon as she leaves, she takes her phone out and calls her daughter, asking her if she can come around to her company because she thinks Gustav is a little weird today. Gabrielle says she went to the HR, and they gave her a uniform. Elizabeth says it looks perfect on her, and she says that she accepts the uniform for now because she really needs it, but she says she can do more, and that she has the skills needed for the job position, asking her to help her with that as well. She says she'll do anything to help her with that, but she wants to show her something else first. She opens the door and asks if that's her friend. She nods, saying it is. Elizabeth tells her to watch, and she goes toward Rachel. She's on the phone, saying she can't wait to go home already, and that's when she gives a subtle cough, excusing herself. She quickly hangs up, and her boss asks her how is her work coming along. She says it's been great, and that she's almost done with the first report. She acts impressed, asking her if she has any pointers about it. She says she doesn't, yet, that she needs more time to process the information, but she'll make them later and hand it to her. She says she'll leave her there for as long as she needs and starts leaving the room. I have no idea what I'm doing. Gustav's surprised to see his wife there. Danielle asks him why is he so surprised, and he says that she didn't tell him anything about coming to the office today. She says she missed him, that she wanted to see him. She starts calling Gustav, saying he'll have to help her out. He sees the phone ringing and answers it, but he says he can't talk right now, that he's very busy right now. He tells his wife it's the accountant. But Rachel says she's no accountant, and that she needs his help with the paperwork. She's so mad that she says she's going there. He immediately tells her not to come, that he can handle it, screaming for her not to come. It all happens so quickly. She already made her way into his office, saying she needs his help. His wife asks him who she is, barging into his office like that. He says it is their new manager, and she nods. He tries to introduce them to each other, and it takes him a moment to remember Rachel's name, introducing her to his wife. She didn't know Gustav was married, greeting his wife. She greets her, asking her why she wanted to come and work in this office. She subtly cleans her hand, saying she was under the impression she would get nice things working there, but she thinks she was mistaken, looking at Gustav. Danielle nods, and Rachel tells him that she needs help with the reports. He says he can't go right now, and that's when Gabrielle sees the empty place and starts doing the reports. Elizabeth comes around, asking her why is she there, asking her about her friend. She says she left, but she can do the corrections on the reports. She tells her to follow her. She says she, unfortunately, can't help her. She likes honesty, and Gabrielle it's not being honest with her right now, that she wanted to sabotage her friend, and she doesn't want people like that working with her. She says she doesn't understand, and she says she saw her trying to sabotage her friend. She says that's not it, that she was trying to help her, that she would do all of them for her. She tells her to wait there and leaves. She goes into Gustav's office, telling her daughter to excuse them while she discusses some things with him. She gives him a kiss and leaves, and Elizabeth tells Rachel to sit down. She says it's been ages since she saw good reports like that. And since she was the one who did it, she asks her to explain the correlation of the percentages in there. She looks at it, and she says she can't. She'll call the one who actually did those. She calls Gabrielle, and she can't believe this, asking her why is she still there. She excuses herself, asking if she called for her. She says she did, that she wants her to witness Rachel being fired. She says she's fired before she could even begin. She's outraged, saying she didn't do anything wrong, but Elizabeth corrects her, saying she didn't do anything at all. She wants her gone from her company, and Rachel leaves. She now looks at Gabrielle, congratulating her, saying that she'll hire her. She thanks her, saying she'll not disappoint her. She hands the reports, saying she can go back to work, and she takes them and leaves. I always knew that Gabrielle had potential. Since he's a man who knows everything, she hopes he knows that she'll tell her daughter of what happened there, that she called a lawyer to handle their divorce papers. He's shocked to hear that. And she fires him as well, telling him to get out. He says he'll not leave, that he conquered his spot there, and she screams at him to leave. He leaves, telling her she'll regret doing this. Gabrielle stops Rachel from going, and she says that she's her friend and that she forgives her for everything that she did. She says she doesn't need her forgiveness, telling her that she never was her friend, that she doesn't even like her. She starts leaving, but her dress gets caught at the gate, and she has to walk down the street without her dress.